expectations. And so just have that mindset of the company that you're going to and understand what their expectations are.
Yeah, when I think about people communicating with a potential employer, you know, you're not sitting in front of an SAT panel where you have to answer questions academically. Like, you're sitting and you're getting a chance to tell your story, right? So there's a professional way that you can just sit, like, envision yourself around a campfire. This really helped me when I was going through the interview process. You're sitting around a campfire and you're getting to tell these people what makes you awesome, like what makes you unique, and why we would be so lucky to have you. Like, the person, when I'm sitting on the other side of this table, I want you to win. I want the interview to go well. I'm not looking to cut you, right? I'm not looking for you to mess up and go, good, I don't have to hire you. Like, I want you to stand out. I want you to do a great job. I'm really hoping that you can access the fullness of who you are, right? And give me a little picture of that. And then I can be really impressed with your character, right? With your drive, with your personality, right? And it doesn't matter if you're like super bubbly personality who gets along with everybody, or you're kind of quiet. Like, I've had great interviews for all personalities, but the ones that do the best are the ones that they have that mentality, like, I'm just giving to tell you that this is who I am, and I love me, right? Like, and that's kind of the attitude you need to have. Like, I love myself, I love who I am, and I think I'm going to be great for your company, because it comes through. That confidence comes through. It's not cockiness, right? It's confidence. And it shows, like, wow, this person likes themselves, which means they're probably going to treat others well, because if they can treat themselves kindly, they can probably treat others really kindly. It's a huge deal, right? So that's how I want you to communicate to potential employers. Like, don't be afraid to show who you really are. You're not in an academic setting where you have to answer the questions A, B, C, D correctly. And no, it's open-ended, and this is your chance to be you, right? And you are unique, so be you.
Okay, so you've already talked about the interview process, and Bob mentioned on what to wear and things like that. So we just want to expand on that, like etiquette and what you should wear to an interview, and first impressions at an interview, and different things like that.
There's a lot of things that I can tell you not to wear that we've seen. Please don't come in your pajamas. I've seen that. Please don't come in a shirt that has holes across the stomach area because it's a little worn. Those are great things to have at your house that are comfy, but if you would not wear it maybe in a more formal setting, it's probably not something that you need to wear into an interview. House shoes, those are negative. I've seen those in interviews, so just make sure the moment you get out of your car and you're walking up to our restaurant, we have giant windows, and we can almost usually tell, like, I bet that's my 1:30 interview. And so we're watching, how are you conducting yourself? Did you cut in front of that old lady and cut her off or something like that? Like, we're kind of watching for those small behaviors and to see how you interact. One of the tricks that we use, and I say trick very lightly, but one of the ways that we observe a potential team member when they come in is we actually seat them somewhere in the dining room, a team member will, and if we're on it, hopefully, a team member will come by and offer them a beverage. We do that because we want to be nice. You're coming into our home, essentially. We want to make you feel comfortable. Having something to sip on can really calm the nerves. But on the flip side, we also want to see, how are you interacting with our team? Did you look them in the eye? Were you rude to them? Did you ball up that wrapper from your straw and just throw it on the ground? We're looking for those behaviors because that kind of tells us a lot about how you're going to interact in the restaurant. So just really think about the presentation that you're trying to put on. And again, one of my very first tips was go in and observe the culture of the restaurant. If you're observing the culture is, oh gosh, their top leaders all wear slacks and polos and blazers and all that kind of stuff, then know that that's what they're looking for. That's the bar that they've set. Our minimum team member uniform is a red polo, black pants, tucked in shirt, belt. Those are important. That's what they're gonna wear. And so if that's our minimum team member, then you probably need to try to match that same style because you're trying to become part of the team.
I just want to quickly say that the team members on our staff right now who we have initially started out being the most impressed with were the ones who, because I think people see a restaurant job or their first job is like I've said before, maybe it's just it doesn't feel as important as that job after college when you've got your degree. but we should value them the same and feel the same about them. And so the people we've been most impressed with are, and it doesn't happen very often, are the ladies who come in slacks and a dress, or a dress, and the men who come in slacks and a polo. We've had some come in a tie. Now, have we hired people who've worn jeans? Yes, we've hired people who've worn jeans. Okay, but have we not hired the ones who came in where it's just holes and it's just like a little bit of a mess? Those are usually the ones that we'll say no to. But just value even your first job interview just as importantly as you value that dream job that you're shooting for after high school or after college. Okay.
Yeah, I don't have a lot to add on top of what they said. I think they did a great job there, but little things like when you sit down, are you scrolling on your phone? Right, like that's not a great look. So bring something else, bring a notepad, write down I don't know what you're writing, write something down, right? Make it look like you're prepared. Review some study guides, some notes for interviewing. You can have a book with you, just something. I think scrolling the phone is just never a good look, no matter who you're trying to interview with. And then make sure you spit out your gun before you come in for the interview. And then your body language matters a lot too. Is the way that you're sitting showing that you're very interested in obtaining this position? Or is the way that you're sitting showing you've got one foot out the booth ready to leave because your mom told you you have to go get a job and so you sat in for this interview and you actually can't wait to get out of here, right? Don't do that. So those are three things out there.
All right, this is now just a little away from the hardcore applicant interview process. What are just one of your favorite interview questions? What tells you the most about someone? What do you think you get the most out of? What's your favorite interview question?
I think one of my favorites is, we don't ask this all the time, but we'll ask what's your dream job or what's one of your future goals, and really trying to figure out how can we help them get to the future, because we look at our employees in two buckets. There's some leaders that we're getting to borrow for a short time, so maybe that's our high school, college students, we've got some nursing students, and their eventual goal is to go on and do something else. So those are leaders we're getting to borrow for a little while, and then there are some leaders who come with us and they're looking to make a career out of working with us. And so we're looking at those two buckets and how can we help push them forward. I will tell you, I did interview one young man early on, and Lindsay was sitting in a booth over, and we still laugh about his answer. So I said, "What is your dream job?" And he said, "I'd like to work in a pillow factory." And we said, "Why? Why do you want to work in a pillow factory?" And he said, "Because I'd like to take naps all day." Same, I would love to take a nap, but maybe that's not a good job interview question or answer. So just thinking about the answer. But I like to see how can we really help move someone forward. So that's probably my favorite.
I think I don't do interviews quite as often anymore, but I used to do them often. But I think my favorite question was when we would ask, "Who is your hero?" Which sometimes they would be like, what does that mean? And what all we're wanting to hear from you is, who is that person in your life who has made an impact, who has changed your life in some way? It could be family, could be a friend, could be a coworker, a teacher. It just helps us learn a little bit about you, and we've had some funny answers to that where they'll answer like Spider-Man. It's like that is a superhero, but it's so just kind of even if when some of these questions, if they feel hard, take a second, think about them before you answer them, and so yeah.
Thinking about what she said, hey, humor in an interview is great, okay? Don't shy away from humor if it's going to be appropriately used. I know we're saying a lot of serious things here, but I'm a goofball, right? And so if you make me laugh in an interview, that's a great sign. Laugh with you, not laugh at you, right? But when I think about my favorite interview questions, there's two that I think of, because they're softballs. They just give you a chance to really nail it, right? One of them is, it goes along with what hers is. It says, what is your ultimate career goal? That's the first part. And the second one is, and how is working at Chick Fil A-Brownwood going to help you prepare for that? Right? So it's really a chance for you to go, and man, now I get to think about how can I answer this question in a way that really makes me stand out. One, I'm thinking about my future. And you know what? If you don't know what your ultimate career goal is, that's okay. right? Like you can admit that, but you can also, on that second question, figure out like, well, here are the skills that I can work on. Here are the things that I'm going to work on myself while I'm at Chick Fil A-Brownwood or anywhere that you work, right? I don't want you guys to think like that this is only for Chick Fil A-Brownwood. You can work anywhere, right? Like anywhere that you're thinking about the skills translate for interviewing skills. But this is your opportunity to tell them like, here's what I know that I can accomplish while I'm here. Here's how I'm already thinking about my future. Here's how I'm thinking about how I'm going to benefit you guys as a business, right? So I love that question. The other question I really love is, what accomplishment are you most proud of? And this is really interesting for people at your age, right? Because maybe you're like, well, I haven't done a lot yet. I was like, yeah, I know. So get creative, right? Like it's a great opportunity for you to be creative with your answer and just, if there's something that you're proud of in your life that you've done, it might be big to you and you might not think it's big to somebody else, but it's gonna be as big as you make it, right? Like if we're gonna attach the energy that you're showing around it. So, and the reason why I tell you that is that I do so many interviews. There was a time where I was just going through so many, and I got to the point where I could answer everybody's interview questions for them, right? Like if I know what you're gonna say, it's not that great of an interview, right? Like if I can basically go through the entire interview and I can tell you how you're gonna answer our question, those are just token script questions. Be unique, right? Like tap into who you really are and just lean on that. So yeah, that was my other favorite question is, what was that? What did I say? I lost my train of thought. Oh, no, what is the accomplishment you're most proud of? Take that one and run with it.
Okay, so our project this year for community problem solving is called Operation Skill Club, because we're trying to bring people into the community and teach our students skills that they can go on and use later in life. And so I guess our last question that we'll ask is, just what are some skills that we can have that we can use whenever we go on to find our careers and things like that employers will look for?
One of the things that I'm looking for when I'm looking at a potential leader or a potential team member is their heart. I can teach you chicken. I learned chicken. And we can teach anyone how to bread or use an iPad or take orders. Those are just teachable skills. What we're really looking for is the heart of the person. So are they trustworthy? Do they have a heart to learn? Do they have a heart to serve others? Are they gonna smile, look people in the eye? Can they carry on a quick conversation in the drive-thru when they're like waiting on the nuggets to get ready and they need to make that person feel good? Those are the things that we're looking for. And so that's not a true employable skill, it's more of a heart piece, but the skills we can teach, it's that heart piece that we're looking for in a person.
I think I have two. Quickly, one of them is, again, another like a heart skill, but it's confidence. And I have to tell you that it does not come naturally to me, and I know that there's probably people out here that does not come naturally to you. And so learning early on, because I did not learn this early on, but learning early on that sometimes even when those skills seem difficult, and they are going to be difficult, just telling myself, well, I have to do it, and so I'm going to do it, and I'm going to have as much confidence as I can, and we're going to see how it goes. Giving yourself grace, but that's kind of a hard skill. And then another just like practical skill would just be working on your communication skills. Knowing that when you go into a job, especially like if you come into Chick Fil A, you're going to be communicating with leadership, and then you're going to be communicating with just the red shirt team members that are all around you, and your whole shift is going to, the foundation of it, so much of it is going to be communication. Can you communicate with those around you? Can you work well with others? And so just practice that, communicating with your peers, communicating with your teachers.
I have two as well. There's a chance I forget the second one, so y'all forgive me, okay? But the first one is, hey, if you see a problem, solve a problem, right? Like, be the employee that comes looking for problems to solve. Like, if it's your first day, no matter where you're at, get your hands out of your pockets, right? Like, that doesn't show that you're ready to go solve somebody's problem. In our environment, right, what that looks like is, if you're training on front counter, if you're training on the headset or bagging, putting sauces in order, if you see somebody walking on the counter, right, like, you see a problem, they want a refill, you go solve the problem, go get them that refill. Like, yeah, you don't know how to ring up an order, yeah, you don't really know how to work a headset, but you can get a refill like that, right? Like, be the kind of person that comes in looking for problems to solve. Man, that's so valuable to any employer, right? Like that you have the mindset of, I'm gonna find a problem and I'm gonna solve it today for you. You wanna find a way to climb up the ranks fast, that's one good way to do it. You don't have to have like great social skills to do that. You can do that with any kind of skill, like you can just solve problems. Another one, I told you I forget it, man. The other one is just being coachable, okay? Oh my goodness, like this is so important, right? And you're like, well, coachability is not a skill. Okay, well, let's call the skill this. I tell you something you're not doing great and you're not crushed, right? Because you trust that I'm actually just trying to make you better. And I think that you are worth the time it takes to go, hey, you're not doing this well. And I care enough about you, like to hold you accountable to this level of work, that I'm gonna tell you that. It's me saying, I care about you. I think you can do more. I think you're better than you're showing us right now, right? And that's what coachability is, right? It's not saying like you did something bad and therefore you are bad. No, it's like, hey, you did something like not that great, like your work level wasn't great, but I think you're capable of much better than that, and I see it in you, and I'm gonna help you achieve that. So coachability in any environment looks like hearing feedback and not getting crushed by it, and just give your leadership the benefit of the doubt that they think you are capable of more than you are currently showing them, right? Like they really believe that. And if they didn't if they stopped talking to you, that's when you should be worried. If they're giving you feedback, be so grateful for that, because it's an opportunity for you to grow and become more marketable, right? Become a better, just a better individual who has a chance to climb the ladder faster. Be coachable. It's so great.
We're done with questions on our end. Do y'all have anything to add? Do y'all want to look into the audience for questions? It's really just a toss-up of what y'all want to do. Bring them on. All right. Does anyone have any questions that they can think of that they want to ask Chick Fil A specifically, or just about job opportunity? Anything? They'll be here for a couple minutes if y'all want to ask any questions. Y'all are off for seventh period, so. Oh, yeah.
Sorry, I'm known for always having something to say. I'm glad to figure that out by now. Hey, the one thing I want to encourage you guys is, like, we want you to win, right? And the job like force wants you to win. They want you to do well. They're not looking for you to do terrible and pay you as little as they can. Like, they want to see you succeed. It makes us all better. It makes the community better, right? It makes the environment better, makes your life better, makes your family better, right? And we want to be a part of like fostering that care. So go out there like with confidence that when I go in for this interview, they're not looking for me to tank. They're looking for me to like just launch and walk in there with that confidence, like you can do it, and you're capable of it, you're worthy of it. So like have fun with it.